people really don't have a strong understanding of who they are, which is one of the reasons why I like asking this question. But how did you develop your identity to be able to just say so beautifully, like, who you are? Like, where did that come from?
Okay, so I am starting to get really energized right now because a big part of my work, I use the anti-bias education framework that was developed by Louise Derman Sparks and Julie Olson Edwards. And the very first goal is identity. And so with our learners, we want them to feel comfortable and confident in who they are. We want them to have pride for their culture, their family, their language, their neighborhood, and so on. But there's also goals for us as adults as well. And so that first goal of identity means that I also need to feel comfortable and confident in who I am. And so a big part of that is understanding both I have personal identities and also social identities. So personal identities is what will make me what I would consider myself as unique. How I like to spend my time, what I'm learning to do, my likes, my dislikes, all of those things make really who I am on a unique level. And then I have social identities, and we all do. And social identities is what connects me to larger groups of people, which is why sometimes people will call them group identities or social indicators. And so a part of doing all of that is like, I'm always thinking about, who am I? What experiences have I had, both because of my positionalities, but how does like the world also experience me? There's parts of me that I had language for right away. Like I knew early on, I would say, by upper elementary, I knew my racial identity was Black. Like those are very honest conversations my parents had with me. So I consider myself a Black girl with a white mom. So I also identify as Black biracial. But then there's other parts of me that I didn't have a language for. And that's just honestly because they were dominant identities in society, where we could always see them as the default or neutral. So it wasn't until my adult life did I know that I identified as cisgender. Like no one ever gave me that language, cisgender. I had the language for trans, right? So I had the language for other folks, but I didn't have the language for me. And so doing all of that work allows there to be this really beautiful place to figure out, well, where do I hold privilege and immunity? And then where am I disadvantaged? And wherever I hold immunity and privilege is really where I can do my allyship work or my accomplice work or my co-conspirator work. And the parts of me where I'm disadvantaged is really oftentimes the parts that I need to love on myself more, because society is either constantly erasing that part or misrepresenting that part or minimizing that part. And then there's parts of me, like I look at myself as just a mysterious being. And I'm always trying to find, like reconnect or discover parts of me that either I've forgotten, I've let go, or like I recently got into spin class and I'm like, who knew I like spin? I didn't, right? So I'm always kind of like approaching that with this level of curiosity and play that I would expect to with my learners too.